Who will win, Castiel or Superman? In a dark corner of the universe, where the stars sparkle like jewels on black velvet, Castiel, God's warrior angel, silently watches over the earth. His invisible wings flutter gently, creating ripples of Enochian energy that ripple through space. Castiel, with a deep gaze that holds millions of years of history, is searching for a new threat. The heavens have sent him a vague warning. A powerful entity is disturbing the course of fate on the blue planet. At the same time, in Metropolis, Clark Kent, aka Superman, soars above the city. The golden sunlight shines on his red and blue armor, making him look like a god among men. Superman has just stopped an attack by a criminal organization using alien technology. But inside him, a sense of unease is growing. A strange energy, unlike anything he has ever encountered, is spreading from somewhere in the universe. Fate had it, these two powerful beings would soon meet. But no one expected their encounter to lead to a battle that would shake both space and time. Castiel, with his teleportation ability, appeared right in front of the Daily Planet Tower. He stood there, in his familiar trench coat, his deep blue eyes scanning the skyscrapers. He sensed Superman's power, a pure, almost divine energy, but without the mark of heaven. "This is not a creation of the Father," Castiel muttered, his hands tightening on the seraph blade hidden under his shirt. Superman, from above, recognized Castiel's presence. Supersonic speed brought him to the ground in a split second. "Who are you?" Superman asked, his voice echoing, full of authority. "And why do I feel you do not belong here?" Castiel tilted his head, observing the man of steel before him. "I am Castiel, an angel of God. I have come to investigate a threat to the balance of the universe." "Are you that threat?" Tension exploded. The surrounding space seemed to vibrate from the collision of two opposing energies. Castiel is no ordinary angel. He is a warrior with millions of years of combat experience, having faced the most powerful demons in hell and the most treacherous angels in heaven. His powers are not limited to the three dimensions. With a touch of his hand, he can manipulate time, teleport, or even put a living being into a deep sleep. His invisible wings, though no longer fully connected to heaven, still allow him to perform feats that humans can hardly imagine. Superman, meanwhile, is the epitome of physical power. He can lift a continent, fly at superluminal speeds, and withstand blows that could destroy a planet. But he has never faced a being like Castiel, an angel who can manipulate reality at will. "You are not human," Superman said, his eyes glowing as he activated his omniscient vision. But strangely, he couldn't see through Castiel's body. There was a mysterious energy surrounding the angel, like an impenetrable shield. "I am not human, and neither are you," Castiel replied, his voice calm but authoritative. "But our goals may be at odds. I need to ensure that your power does not compromise the order of the universe." Superman frowned. "I protect the Earth. I am not a threat." But Castiel was not so easily convinced. He had seen too many powerful beings fall into darkness, corrupted by their own power. With a wave of his hand, the space around them began to distort. Time slowed, and Superman felt his body grow heavier. "What are you doing?" he shouted, trying to rush at Castiel. But Castiel was gone, leaving only a flash of white light. He reappeared right behind Superman, placing a hand on his shoulder. A surge of Enochian energy flows through, making Superman feel dizzy. Superman, with his iron will, quickly snapped out of his trance. He stood up, his eyes glowing red with anger. "You think a magic trick can defeat me?" he roared, charging straight at Castiel at supersonic speed. But Castiel was ready. With a touch, he created a beam of angelic white light, so powerful it shook the entire city. Superman was knocked back, his body crashing through a building, collapsing an entire street corner. "You are strong, but your power is only physical," Castiel said, his invisible wings vibrating, creating a sound like the ringing of bells. "I am an angel, and my power is beyond the limits of this world." Superman, unfazed, flew back at terrifying speed. He threw a punch powerful enough to destroy a mountain. But Castiel, with the reflexes of a million-year-old warrior, teleported, appearing above Superman. The angel blade flashed in his hand, aimed straight at Superman's shoulder. The thrust hit its mark, but not as Castiel expected. The blade, though forged from the energies of heaven, left only a small scratch on Superman's steel skin. "You think that thing can hurt me?" Superman sneered, grabbing Castiel's arm and sending him flying through dozens of buildings. Castiel, though thrown, quickly steadied himself in the air. He spread his invisible wings, and the space around him began to shake. "You're stronger than I expected," he admitted, "but physical strength isn't everything." Castiel decided to change tactics. He used his chronokinesis, manipulating time to slow Superman's movements. Every step the Man of Steel took now felt like he was moving through a thick stream. Castiel took advantage of the opportunity, teleporting around Superman, unleashing attacks of angelic white light. But Superman was not one to be defeated. He focused all his strength, breaking the grip of time with pure will. A supersonic punch hit Castiel in the chest, sending the angel flying backwards, crashing through a hill. "You cannot win," Superman said, his voice full of confidence. "I am Superman. I protect this world, and no one can stop me." Castiel, wounded, stood up. A white light radiated from his body, instantly healing his wounds. "You may be a protector," he said, "but I am the enforcer of heaven's will, and I will not let you destroy the balance." The fight continued, with Castiel using his telekinesis to hurl massive pieces of the city at Superman, while Superman responded with powerful blows and heat beams from his eyes. Space shook, time warped. After hours of fighting, under the bright lights of Metropolis, the battle between Castiel and Superman showed no signs of abating. Castiel, his eyes burning with Enochian light, stood firm on a ruined building. The angel's sword in his hand flashed, reflecting a holy white light like a wordless declaration of war. Superman, his red and blue armor scratched, hovered in the air, his eyes glowing red with heat rays ready to fire at any moment. "You do not understand," Castiel said, his voice low but resonant like the bells of heaven. "Your power is a dangerous variable. Left unchecked, it will destroy everything I have sworn to protect." Superman clenched his fists, his body vibrating with the solar energy building up in every cell. "I do not need your judgment, Angel. I have saved this planet hundreds of times. You appear from nowhere, demanding that I bow to your will?" Without a word, Castiel swung his arm, creating a powerful wave of Enochian energy that shook the air around him. Shards of concrete, glass, and steel from nearby buildings were sucked into a telekinesis vortex, aimed straight at Superman. The Man of Steel, at supersonic speed, easily dodged it, but he couldn't help but be amazed by the angel's precision and power. Superman lunged forward, delivering a powerful punch to Castiel's chest. The blow created a sonic boom, shattering windows for hundreds of meters. Castiel was sent flying, crashing through 3 buildings before coming to a stop, but he quickly got back up, unscathed. "You are strong, but your power is physical," Castiel said, his invisible wings vibrating, creating ripples of energy in the air. "I am an angel, and I am not bound by the limitations of this world." Not giving Castiel a chance to counterattack, Superman fired a heat beam from his eyes. 2 crimson beams of light cutting through the air, aimed straight at the angel. Castiel raised his hand, creating a shimmering Enochian shield, blocking the heat beam. But the pressure from Superman's power caused the shield to begin to crack. Castiel gritted his teeth, using chronokinesis to slow down time, allowing him to teleport out of range. He reappeared right behind Superman, the angel blade aimed at his back. But Superman, with superhuman reflexes, spun around and blocked the blade with his arm. There was a clang, and the blade, though forged from heaven's energy, only left a small scratch on Superman's steel skin. "You think that thing can hurt me?" Superman roared, grabbing Castiel's arm and throwing him to the ground, creating a crater dozens of meters deep. Castiel, though thrown hard, quickly steadied himself in the air. He spread his invisible wings, the space around him shaking as if it had been torn apart. "You're stronger than I expected," he admitted, his voice calm, but with a hint of caution. But physical strength isn't everything. Castiel decided to change tactics. He swung his arms, using telekinesis to lift an entire street into the air. Cars, lampposts, and debris from buildings flew into the air, forming a storm of matter aimed at Superman. The Man of Steel, with terrifying speed, destroyed each piece with punches and heat rays, but Castiel didn't stop. He teleported constantly, appearing in unpredictable places, launching attacks of angelic white light. Superman, though fast, began to feel the pressure. Each white light from Castiel carried a supernatural power, making his body tremble. "What are you?" Superman screamed, charging at Castiel at the speed of light. But the angel was prepared. He created an Enochian circle on the ground, an ancient magical trap. As Superman stepped inside, he felt his body locked, as if bound by invisible chains. "This is Enochian magic," Castiel explained, his voice cold. "Even your power cannot break it easily." He stepped forward, the angel blade glowing in his hand. "You are a threat, and I will end it." But Superman was not one to give up so easily. He focused all his will, the solar energy in his body exploding, shattering the Enochian circle in a blinding explosion of light. Castiel was pushed back, feeling real danger from his opponent for the first time in the fight. "You are not a normal human," Castiel muttered, his eyes narrowing. Castiel, realizing that normal attacks cannot defeat Superman, decides to use his full power. He spreads his invisible wings. The space around him begins to distort. Time slows down, and a bright white light explodes from his body, so powerful that it shakes the entire city of Metropolis. Superman, despite being affected by the time manipulation, still tries to move. He throws a powerful punch, but Castiel teleports, appears right behind him, and delivers a white light strike to Superman's chest. The blow knocks the Man of Steel down, and for the first time in the battle, he feels real pain. "You cannot win," Castiel says, his voice echoing like a sentence from heaven. "I am the will of God. You are but a creature, no matter how powerful. But you cannot stand against the power of heaven." But Superman, with an indomitable will, stands up. "I don't fight for God or heaven," he said, his voice full of determination. "I fight for those who need me, and I won't let you stop me." Superman launched himself into the sky, creating a sonic boom as he reached supersonic speeds. He charged straight at Castiel, unleashing a flurry of powerful punches, each one with the power to destroy a planet. Castiel, fast as he was, couldn't dodge them all. He was knocked back, his angel blade falling from his hand. But Castiel didn't give up. He used chronokinesis, sending them both into a dimension where time was virtually frozen. In this dimension, Castiel had the absolute advantage. He attacked Superman with successive bursts of white light, each strike imbued with the supernatural power of heaven. Metropolis was in ruins, the light from the energy blasts still flickering in the sky. Castiel, wounded by Superman's last blow, stood tall, his blue eyes glowing Enochian. He spread his invisible wings, the air around him shaking as if torn apart by divine power. "You may be strong, but you do not understand the meaning of my mission," Castiel said, his deep voice echoing like a sentence from heaven. Superman, standing in the rubble, gasped, his blue and red armor torn, but his eyes still burning with indomitable will. "I do not care about heaven or your mission," he replied, his voice full of determination. "I fight to protect the innocent, and if you are a threat, I will not stop." Castiel tilted his head, watching Superman with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. He realized that the Man of Steel was not only a mighty warrior, but also possessed an almost divine will, something that even angels rarely possessed. But Castiel's mission would not allow him to falter. He swung his arm, creating a giant Enochian circle in the sky, the ancient symbols glowing brightly, sealing the space around him. "This is the seal of heaven," Castiel declared. "You will not escape, and I will end this threat." Superman felt his body being weighed down by the power of the seal. Space seemed to shrink, time distorted, and the solar energy within him was restrained. But he would not give up. With a roar, Superman focused all his strength, his body exploding with golden light, breaking the seal in a blinding explosion. The shockwave spread out, collapsing the remaining buildings. Castiel was pushed back, and for the first time in the fight, he felt a glimmer of doubt. "You cannot break that seal," he muttered, the angel blade in his hand vibrating. But Superman didn't give him a chance to think. He lunged forward at supersonic speed, delivering a powerful punch to Castiel's chest, sending the angel flying through a hill, creating a giant crater. Realizing that direct attacks would not defeat Superman, Castiel decided to use his ultimate power, chronokinesis, the ability to manipulate time. He swung his arm, and the space around him began to distort. Time slowed down. Superman's every movement felt as heavy as if he were moving through a thick ocean. Castiel seized the opportunity, teleporting around Superman repeatedly, launching strikes of angelic white light. Each white light was supernaturally powerful, causing Superman's body to tremble. "You think this time game can defeat me?" Superman roared, his eyes glowing red with heat. He focused all his will. The solar energy in his body exploded, breaking the grip of time. With a supersonic punch, he hit Castiel, sending the angel crashing down, crashing through a skyscraper, but Castiel was not easily defeated. He stood up, white light emanating from his body, healing all wounds instantly. "You can break time, but you cannot break the will of heaven," he said, raising his seraph blade high. He created a new trap, an Enochian vortex, sucking Superman into its center. Inside the vortex, Superman felt his body being torn apart by supernatural energies, as if reality itself were turning against him. Superman, with incredible strength, fought against the vortex. He flew up, through its center, and launched a direct attack at Castiel. The angel dodged, but the blast from the punch shook the area, flattening a corner of Metropolis. Castiel, the warrior angel of God, stood on a pile of rubble, his invisible wings vibrating violently, creating ripples of energy that distorted the space around him. His deep blue eyes flashed, reflecting his unwavering determination. The seraph blade in his hand glowed, like a holy fire ready to burn away anything that stood in his way. Across from him, Superman, the Man of Steel of Earth, was still hovering in the air, despite the damage to his body. His tattered blue and red armor, the scratches on his steel skin were testament to Castiel's supernatural strength. But Superman's eyes burned, filled with the indomitable will of a protector of humanity. You cannot win forever, Superman said, his voice low but defiant. I will not let you destroy this world. Castiel tilted his head, observing Superman with a mixture of respect and determination. You are a great warrior, Kal-El, he said, using Superman's real name for the first time. But your power, however great, is only material. I am an angel, carrying out the will of heaven, and today, I will end the threat you represent. Castiel realized that his previous attacks, however powerful, were not enough to completely defeat Superman. He decided to use a bold tactic, combining all of his angelic powers, chronokinesis, telekinesis, and the ultimate white light. He spread his invisible wings, and the space around him shook violently, as if reality itself was being torn apart. With a wave of his hand, he created a time vortex, trapping Superman in a dimension where time almost stopped. Superman felt his body being restrained, every movement becoming as slow as swimming in a thick ocean. He tried to concentrate the solar energy in his body, but Castiel's time vortex was too powerful, weakening his healing ability. You think this will stop me? Superman roared, his eyes glowing red with heat. He fired a powerful beam of heat, aimed straight at Castiel, but the angel teleported, appearing right behind him. Castiel placed a hand on Superman's shoulder, sending a burst of Enochian energy into the Man of Steel's body. The burst not only caused pain, but also disrupted the flow of solar energy in Superman's cells. You are strong, but I can reach your essence, Castiel said, his voice cold but authoritative. Superman fell, feeling his power overwhelmed for the first time in the battle. When the white light dissipated, Superman lay motionless on the ground, his eyes closed, his body showing no signs of superhuman strength. Castiel stood tall, looking down at his opponent. The seraph blade still glinted in his hand, but his eyes were not filled with triumph, but with contemplation. You are a formidable warrior, Kal-El, he said, his voice low and sad. But my mission is greater than yours. Heaven will not allow any change that threatens the balance of the universe.